afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending some time with us on this beautiful September afternoon, lunchtime. We are thrilled today to have you at our Resolve It in 30, where you bring the questions and we bring the answers. Today, our content expert, Ximena Coriat from MXC Design, is going to be talking about some interior design tips in terms of maximizing not only your workspace, but your residential space, and some of the things that she has run into relative to the COVID-19. So we're excited to have that kind of expertise with us. In the driver's seat today is myself, as well as my partner in crime, Jael Tasher, who will be helping with the slides and helping with the presentation. In the next 30 minutes, obviously, we'll be talking to Ximena about a number of different issues relative to design. And one of the things that she's going to talk about is that the two words interior design do not relate to the same two words of extensive or expensive. And that is the expertise that she brings to the party today. We'll talk a little bit about 15 minutes of content. We ask that if you have questions, you put them in the chat box, and we'll make sure to ask them. And if there's any other questions that you have moving forward, we're happy to help with that as well. As I mentioned, please mute your microphone. If there's any dings that are going to happen on your computer, we ask that you turn those off as well. You've got the instruction for the chat box. So without further ado, before I introduce Ximena, let me just remind you that one of our sponsors is La Mega Radio. Okay, they are the number in Philadelphia, and our sponsorship with them allows you to have as packages for as little as $350 per week, and they will customize them for you. So should you want to take advantage of that and even have a conversation around what La Mega could do for you and your business, call them directly, 215-426-1900. Without further ado, let me proudly introduce one of our wonderful members, a dear friend of the chamber and a total professional, Ximena Coriat, who is the owner and principal of MXC Design. Ximena, take it from here, babe.
Good afternoon. My name is Ximena Coriat, as you all heard, and I am an interior designer in the Philadelphia area. I am a member of the Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I wanted to thank them, especially Karen, for inviting me to talk to you about the importance of interior design, especially during the pandemic world we're living in, and also how interior design is affordable to all. I have a degree in interior design, and I have also studied Feng Shui. In case you're not familiar with Feng Shui, Feng Shui is the practice of striking that balance between the world around us, the natural world, and our living and working environments. I have completed both commercial and residential projects in my 17 plus years of having the firm. And I also wanted to tell you that commercial projects are mostly offices, hotels, cafes, restaurants, any space that's occupied by multiple people. And residential projects are mostly homes, apartments, studios, where we live. According to Wikipedia, interior design is the art and science of enhancing the interior of a building to achieve a healthier and more aesthetically pleasing environment for the people using the space. We usually hear about decorators and interior designers in the same sentence. And a decorator can furnish a space. They can select paint colors, they can select finishes, tiles, they can select furniture, window treatments. An interior designer can do all of that, plus they can also draw plans. We are allowed to build up to 3 floors or design a space no larger than 6,400 square feet. So we have the knowledge of the codes in each township that we're working in. We also have knowledge of electrical plans and plumbing. So we don't know as much as an architect would know, but we know enough that we're able to make a plan for a kitchen or a bathroom or an addition in a home. Besides that, I would say that when you're designing for a space, we're planning, we're researching and coordinating and managing all of these parts for our clients. So I feel that this saves you time. You can still, you work, you can earn money, but you have someone who has taken over all of this execution of your project, whatever it might be, and however large or small. In today's world during the pandemic, interior design has become critical. Why? Because we're using our homes both for living, the space that we eat, entertain, and share with our families, plus office where we work. So the use of space has to be maximized. And I've been getting multiple calls of how can I design existing space and convert it into a study area for the children and then a working area for the parents, especially when you have space limitations. And that's very challenging, and I enjoy it very much. Interior design is part of the construction business. We work with clients, and we also work with architects and engineers and with the tradesmen. Basically, if we're starting a building from scratch, we will contact an architect who will do all the plans and the construction plans, and that architect has to present those to the township for approval so that it can be built. He works closely with engineers, but we also work with engineers. I just completed an addition to a home, and we have to get our plans approved by an engineering to make sure that the calculations of load and stability are fine, and they have to stamp it. So there's a lot of legal work when you're doing an addition to a home or you're doing major renovations. Interior designers, we will do documentation plans. We will have all of the different applications of safety codes that have to be applied. We do space planning. We also do the construction details, the materials, what carpet, the paint colors, what trim color, the tiles, the lighting plan. So all the little nitty-gritty details that make a building complete or a space complete. And then during the building or during the renovation or during the work that's being done in your space, we deal with the tradesmen, with general contractors, with plumbers, with electricians, and with masons. Because many times when you're working with the tradesman, you need to make decisions on site. Many times you look at a color in the fan deck. The fan deck is what you look at for colors, or you go to Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore, and the color looks great. And then you bring it at home, and because the way the light hits, it's different. I've had many funny instances where a client insists on using a light white that has yellow, and then they have a green piece of furniture, and once the yellow is applied, the light white is applied to the walls, it reads green because it bounces off from the green sofa or piece of furniture. So that's why I feel that if you hire an interior designer, because of experience, we know all these intricate things that you learn as you go, as you practice. What I feel that the benefits of hiring an interior designer is that it provides a professional analysis of the client's needs. We spend at least 2 hours talking, what are your needs? What are your favorite colors? Their situation, and we can develop a plan that works with the client's budget. And I love it. It's a challenge because not everybody has infinite budgets. Everybody has a budget. And it's a challenge for us as designers to make sure that we meet their needs and that we make it aesthetically pleasing. We're lucky we live in a world that we have so many options that I feel that any project is achievable. We have Facebook Market, there's so many resources. Besides working with architects, engineers, and tradesmen, we can also help with the planning and the budgeting, where to put the furniture while things are being done. We also make sure that the office or the home meets code requirements. It's important to be safe in our environment. clients. So we need, as designers, we need to know where those light fixtures go, what outlet to use. If there's water near, it has to be a GFI. So there's a lot of different safety aspects that we have to know and implement in a design. We also assure that our design is efficient, comfortable, and that it meets our needs. It meets the needs of the client, sorry. At the same time, we have a lot of know-how from experience. We have access and knowledge of different resources and technologies that we have to keep up with that allow the client and us as designers to achieve a lot fun and inexpensive projects. Before, when you used to install wall covering or wallpaper, it used to require a certain glue that would stay there for years and also was very difficult to remove. Nowadays, there's great wall coverings that can change a space and they can be removed if you don't like it. And I would say paint, for example, is one of the things that you can do in a room, changes the feeling, and it can also brighten and refresh a space. It's not as expensive. And now even wall covering is not as expensive. And in today's world, when we're doing a lot of Zoom, like we're doing today, it's wonderful. If you want to have a different background that is not personal, you can set up a board with different wall coverings and you would have different backgrounds. And it still, you know, shows who you are or whatever message you want to convey. I do believe that you save money at the end because as interior designers, we save you time and we have experience. We know what products work. There's a lot of products in the market. Some are good and some are bad. There's some places where you should invest your money. Structurally, it's better to invest your money there in the beginning, and eventually you can do the decorating. But I feel that if you have a good structure, you can do many things. There's also effort sometimes. People say, well, I can do it for now, but some things that you do for now, you're spending money and it's better you do it right and you have it for a long time. Other things you can change constantly. I believe that we as interior designers help the client prevent mistakes. For example, buying furniture that's too big or that doesn't fit to the front door. And most stores will not take it back. Or if they take it back, they have a restocking fee. At the end of the day, I feel that we work constantly with different tradesmen. And since there is no set price for things, it's good to know good tradesmen and good prices and what's fair and what's not fair. Next screen. Here are some of the pictures of some of my projects. This is a residential project. As you can see, they have great light, and we had to make sure in this project that the client could exhibit his paintings and also that he could have multiple seating arrangements. So that's not one table, it's actually 2 square tables that can be opened. And today it has served as an office because they split up the tables and they set up a screen and they have 2 separate offices where people can work from. So this space has worked very nicely for the client, even in the pandemic world. Next slide, please. Here we have one of my favorite projects, and that is, I'm just gonna see if I can remove the, okay. This is a townhouse. And this townhouse, we have a townhouse that hadn't been renovated for a long time, and it had a certain style, as you can see in the left. The person liked the more warm and had a lot of faux painting. And all we did with a limited budget was use paint color. I painted all the railings black. That color on the upper floor is a plum color. And I changed the fireplace to white using nothing was structurally changed, and we added some lighting for those pictures of the client's family, and we created a nice sitting area. This client particularly loves color. She grew up in a very cold place, so color is important for her. Next slide. Here we have the same townhouse, and again, the previous client had used very bold, dark colors, and this client wanted a more homey feeling We added some lighting in the ceiling. And as you can see in the background, there's a fireplace that I just painted white. Painted the fireplace around white, and then we changed it to blue, the fireplace, the mantelpiece. And we added wall covering, and has a lot of texture. It absorbs a lot of noise, which is very nice, and it makes the room a lot cozier. And we added a table and some window treatments and a bench seat on the right, and really helped the space become more warm and not so dark. Next slide, please. Here we have an office, and this is used today. It's for the owner of the company. It's the office in the center, and then the meeting room. In this office today is very interesting, because today what I've also been doing is people who are living at home and cannot go to their offices have been asking if I know people who own offices who will lend them when they cannot be working from home, because there's noises, there's dogs, there's children learning, and there's not enough space. So I have been conditioning some offices that are not being used, but that have allowed some of my clients to go and work there and have some quiet time and be able to have a Zoom meeting without a dog barking or the children, passing by or calling, or many other interruptions that we have today since we're working from home. Next slide. Here's another picture. Again, they have great light, and this is one of the other partners' offices. So they're very grand, but not everything has to be so grand, and it's just a use of art. And I also believe that this client loves contemporary art, and it's great that they have it in their space of work, and it makes it a lot happier place, and it also adds some personality to it. Next slide. Here we have, this is another office of this is a lawyer, so he has a little meeting area. We're redesigning this office so that we have some of the COVID safety guidelines. So we're going to have a screen, a plexiglass screen that rolls in front of his desk, so that he can have a meeting and people can see each other without using the face masks or face shields. And I think that it's safe because it's a large office, and that you can have this very small meetings. And we also install the air purifier. So we're really doing a lot of adaptation in offices to make them COVID COVID resistance or what to say, but we're really trying to work with the space and be able to see our faces. It's very important to be able to read someone's eyes when you're having a meeting, when you're trying to solve a problem, that we can have that energy going back and forth. And if you only have 3 people for a short amount of time, 30 minutes, is not as, say, dangerous to have a spread of the virus. And we take turns of the people who can come in the office. So all of that has been a lot of interesting work for us as a company. Next slide. And this is the end of my presentation. I also wanted to know that interior design doesn't have to be expensive. Most of us will charge by the hour, or there's no set rules or by the percentage of the cost of the project, but I think most of us will work with our clients if they're interested. I also feel that because of the variety of products, we have IKEA, which has amazing design. We have HomeSense, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, and many of them have incredible sourcing, and they get really good furniture that has been discontinued at incredible prices, and it's a good quality. So in today's world, good design should be accessible for everyone, and it is. Asking for help is great from professionals, and at the end, I do feel you save money. So
Ximena, thank you so much. We've got some time, which is really wonderful. But, you know, one of the things as you were talking with your extensive experience and remind everybody how many years you've been in the business one more time.
I have been in the business for 17 years.
Okay.
And I've seen it. It's fun because it's a business. What I love about my business is that no one day is the same. And you have someone who had a flood or someone who had a spill and they'll call you, please, I need help. And it's fun. I really am passionate with what I'm passionate for what I do. I love design, love my clients, and I care a lot for the people that I'm working for. At the end, we work so close that you really become friends. And you do have to find an interior designer that you have chemistry with and who understands your point of view. I do believe that this is almost like finding a good psychologist or psychiatrist. You need someone who you can connect and reads what you want to do.
So Maria, Ximena, we've got a couple of questions that are coming through, which is really pretty exciting. But one of the things that hit me as you were talking was the extensive, not just the experience, okay, but within the experience comes the contacts and the working with all of the other professionals so that you become in many ways, you know, I don't want to say the word general contractor, but one incredible source of information where you can talk to your clients and bring them into the sort of the circle of understanding what the budget, you know, helping them understand that you understand the codes of the you know, the municipality and what has to happen, the impact and influence of just a minor little change. It doesn't have to be extensive or expensive. It can be color. It can be, you know, the sound absorption wall covering that you put in that one home. I mean, it's amazing. Who would even think of that? So that's the value of the tremendous things that you bring from the experience. A couple of questions. Maria Weir is giving you a wonderful compliment about the really excellent presentation, and it is and was and will continue to be. And she's talking about the fact that it just made her realize the importance of having an interior designer manage the project, okay? And it really saves time and money at the end. You know, spend, you know, like 30 seconds commenting on that, if you could, Ximena, and then I've got two other questions for you.
Yeah, well, I feel that an interior designer, you usually have a project manager. It doesn't matter if it's a small project, it could be one bed, let's say it's a bedroom. It's nice for me to be able to talk to the electrician. I know exactly what I want. An electrician will say, oh, we'll put the light here. This is standard. This is what the book says. Well, maybe in that space, it should not go there because it won't illuminate you. Maybe you in an office, you need a lot more light than in a bedroom. So in a bedroom, there's no need to put recessed lighting, but in an office, you do need good lighting. So you should invest in the recessed lighting. I also feel that an interior designer, because we understand a little or a lot about the different tradesmen, that we can help them, help the client decide where to allocate their budget. If I would say, for example, some spaces are too dark or they're too chopped up. So maybe it is important that we remove a wall and open it up. Other times there's a lot of echo in a room and all we need is to have maybe a rug or wall covering or some drapes. Other times I walk into a room and they say, this room feels so small, and they have paintings on every single wall. And you need some negative space. I explained the importance of having negative space is to rest your eye and your senses as a human being. So I do feel that it's not only good design is for your health. Good design is great for your health. You can really support who you are and your needs when you have the right colors. If you're a person that is very excitable, like me, red is not a good color for me to have in my environment. And because I create, I need white so that I can rest my eye from what I'm creating, look at the white space, and then be able to, you know, just create what I'm doing for my clients. But if I had all kinds of colors coming at me, it would be very hard and distracting. So right. That would be something I would add to it.
You know, one of the other questions, and this is an exciting question for you, Ximena. Claudia is asking, she's thanking you for the presentation. Again, excellent. Okay, and the question is a great question, and it goes right to the heart of where we are, who we are, and what's happening on the planet right now. And she says, if we are in another country, can you help us change a room by holding meetings in a Zoom format or using another tool?
Absolutely. I have done works abroad, and I feel that if I have a good floor plan, I can help the client through Zoom meetings achieve the selection of materials. Depending on the country, I'm familiar with some, but I can also, because of the internet, we have access to a lot of the stores in other places of the world. And having a Zoom meeting and having some of the samples can really, at the end, achieve a project no matter where in the world. As long as I, as a designer, I have to understand the climate they are in, the resources they have, all the different aspects of that project. And depending on the scope of the project, if it's just a bedroom or if it's construction, then if it's construction, it is better that I travel. But if not, everything else can be handled through the Zoom meeting. But if I have if they have a good contractor wherever they are in the world, I can talk to him or her, and we can work together. I think that that's totally achievable.
So Claudia, there's your answer. So I would encourage you to reach out to Ximena. This slide shows her email and her cell phone number. She is a valued member of the chamber and a very talented woman. And Sophia is letting you know, Ximena, that it's a great presentation. And this is a wonderful comment. Through your job and through what you do, you make people's lives joyful. That's true. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, thank you. I do love, I have a client right now, and it's so much fun because I feel that through design, you get to know yourself. I really like to work. Sometimes a client will hand me a budget and say, do it. And I don't care, just do it, make it work. They want nothing to do with it. And that's fine. A lot of fun for me is if the client is really involved, it's a lot of fun too. And I always tell them, you're going to get to know yourself. Why? Because it is your home. It is your office. I believe that I design for you. It should not be my office or my vision. I do try to help you, and I will inform you of what for example, how colors affects your moods. But at the same time, it should be your space. If you love lots of colors, you should have lots of colors. I'm working with a client who needed something done in 2 weeks because he bought a property and he's renting it. And we just went through all the different stores in the area and got all the pieces we needed, and voila, it's done. He saved money, he has a renters in, and he's done. So I do feel that part of my job is to make people's spaces work for them, make them happy, and to have a fun experience. My job is fun, and it should be fun for my clients. I know there'll be hard moments. We all have little, sometimes we have some hiccups that come up, but it should be fun. It really should be fun.
Well, Ximena, I really want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your professionalism. I want to thank you for bringing joy to a lot of people's lives and the experience that you've got. I want to bring everybody's attention to our upcoming events. We have our restaurant week coming up in just a couple of weeks. I ask you to go on our website and just take a look for the list of participating restaurants and the promotions that are associated with that. And support them. And don't just support them once. See if you want to support them more than once during restaurant week. It's a big deal, and it's a big boost to the community. And guess what? It allows people to taste the culture like they've never tasted it before. Also, we have another Resolve It in 30 coming up on the 10th of, or I'm sorry, on the 2nd of October. If you can believe the words October are coming across my lips. So we ask you to tune into that, and that's going to be what lenders are looking for. And that'll be at noon, from noon to 12:30. Once again, we want to thank you for the time and consideration. We want to thank La Mega for being our sponsor. And we ask people to make sure that they, give La Mega a call if they need something from that perspective of being able to advertise their business. And Ximena, thank you again. And we ask everybody to get in contact with you to be able to make even the smallest adjustment to their space and bring even more joy to people. So
great, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll turn it back over to Javier and thank everybody for their time today.